guys, it's Fit Fat Brit RNY coming to you with an update. I had my surgery August 31st, 2015. I was 317 pounds. I am currently 124. I think as of Friday is when I weighed myself, I think. So I just kind of wanted to talk about a group that I went to the other day. One of my really good friends had gastric bypass after me. I don't remember when. It wasn't long after me. And she's kind of struggling with getting to her goal weight. So, and with me coming up on my 2-year mark, I mean, it wouldn't hurt for me to go to group. I've been to one, in-person group, by the way, not online. I've been to one before. It wasn't really my cup of tea, but this one was part of her program. Her and I both had surgery at different places. I had mine at UPMC McGee Women's Hospital in Pittsburgh. So the lady that was running the group is a nurse that works for the bariatric facility, and she had bariatric surgery herself. She had gastric bypass, and she's 10 years out. 10 years and still going strong. Like, that's pretty impressive. So what did we discuss? I gotta look at the paper. She had a paper, but we didn't really talk about that as much as we all just kind of had a discussion on whatever issues we were going through. There were 2 other people in there besides my friend and I, Courtney. So there really wasn't a whole lot of people, but she was going around the room asking us like different stuff, like how we're doing and just whatever. And one of the things I had said, I guess 2 of the things, but I'll address each one separately. So one of the things that I was discussing with her is, I'm sorry this is so shaky, but I'm having a hard time with this thing, and I live in the country, so when I'm driving into work, it's like bad. The roads are. So the first thing I had brought up to her and to the group in general is people kind of making comments to me constantly about being like too thin, looking like an Ethiopian kid, constantly asking me, are you going to lose any more weight? Is your surgeon concerned? Blah, 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 blah. And she pretty much, she made a good point that, that's going to fade. It's not going to last forever. At some point, there is going to be a norm to people of the way you look. I definitely do not have strangers who have met me after gastric bypass tell me that I look too thin. You know what I mean? Like, that's more just people who have known me. So, that was a very good point that's, it'll fade, it's not going to last forever. It's annoying, but, it won't last forever. Another thing I had brought up is that I'm getting close to my 2-year mark, so it's August 31st. Sorry, I'm scratching, I'm red. And I was telling her, how concerned I am about regain. I feel like everybody starts to regain that I've seen online and in support groups, and sometimes even on YouTube at the 2-year mark. So I was going on about that, and she's like, well, here's the thing. She said, if you're doing everything that you're supposed to, there's really nothing to worry about. She said generally people, sometimes at the 2-year mark, your body, your body's smart. It can adjust and start absorbing more carbs, is what she said. Or not carbs, calories, food in general. And then also, people after a while start to get sick of the diet in general and kind of fade out from it. And that can cause regain, obviously. So that really kind of like made me think, like, okay, here I am so concerned about this regain coming that I think, am I doing everything I'm supposed to? I'm not sure I can answer that. Yes. One of the things that I need to get back on that I haven't been doing is tracking. I just kind of stopped doing it. I kind of was like just annoyed by it and sick of it. And that is by no means an excuse, and you should never ever stop tracking. It has to become a part of your life. You know, like you live and breathe. One thing that I am like religious about is setting my alarm for 30 minutes every time when I eat. Like, that's an annoying habit to most, have to keep track, and I've been able to do it. So I just need to like get my stuff together and do that. So that's something I definitely want to work on. Yeah. So I kind of appreciated that she was very forward. You know, she was just like, anything that anyone said, it was like very to the point. Like, you know, she wasn't sugarcoating anything, and I do definitely appreciate that. And I kind of want to discuss what my friend Courtney said. One of her concerns is her husband. He eats like a normal person. I mean, how many people do you know in your life who really is like hardcore into eating healthy, that, you know, didn't have gastric bypass? And most people that I know that are like that are generally like vegetarians and stuff. Like, people that it's like, it's more to them than just trying to be healthy, you know what I mean? Like, they don't want to eat animals, you know? So unless it's almost like a belief, I don't know many people at all that want to eat healthy. So, you know, she was saying how it's just like annoying that he eats crap in front of her, and it causes problems for her, and, you know, so on and so forth. And the lady's like, you decided to have surgery. That was your choice. People do not, how did she word it? In a sense, like, the world doesn't revolve around you. You've made a drastic change. It's not, the world is not going to change with you. And, you know, that was hard for her to hear too. But again, you know, appreciated the straightforwardness, and, you know, pretty much like, you're going to have to adjust to your situation and adjust to your husband, the way he eats, you know, and figure out a way not to be tempted by it. So I was like, makes sense, you know. Another thing I wanted to talk about is someone in the group had brought up my 600-pound life, and I can't remember why. I think maybe the nurse met Dr. Now at some sort of conference, and she was talking about that, so I think that's why it was brought up. But, and I've seen the 600-pound life show on TLC brought up online as well, like in support groups. So this lady who had surgery, I can't remember what surgery she had, but she had surgery, was talking about that show, and, you know, how ridiculous it is that people are, you know, this way and that way. And I've seen online people post like, did you see this episode? I can't believe this person ate this or that, blah blah blah. And it just like kind of annoys me when people can be so judgmental of that show. I mean, I get some of the situations are shocking, and what people do is shocking, and so on and so forth, but like, it's like, you know, you kind of like, you should take a look in the mirror at yourself. Like, have you ever cheated? More than likely, yes. Someone's not video recording you every 5 seconds of your life, so yeah. And, you know, I could sit there and judge and be like, how could they let themselves get that way? It's ridiculous, blah blah blah. But it's like, I can guarantee you, okay, that there are people who probably have judged you and thought the exact same thing. I'm sure there are people who have seen you the way you eat in the past and been like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm sure people saw the way I ate or whatever and been like, this girl's, you know, 317 pounds. Like, why is she even eating that? She shouldn't be doing that. So, I mean, the same thing can be said about us and judgment as it can be about the people on my 600-pound life. And some of their stories and their childhoods are just messed up. Like, I had a good childhood. Like, I have amazing parents. Like, I cannot even remotely relate to those people in the sense of some of their horror stories, and I can't even imagine how I would cope with those situations, because I haven't been in them. So I can only imagine how hard it is for some people. So I think you have to be careful of judging other people in the community, regardless if they're on the show or people you follow online, which sometimes I see on people on Instagram and their like snaps or Insta stories, I guess you call it, talking about people, messaging them and judging them. And I just I don't understand that at all. Like, that people would not be sympathetic towards other people. Again, maybe your story is better than others. Maybe you've been more successful, whatever. But I can guarantee you that there are people out there who are norm people, not people who've had weight loss surgery, probably judge you, maybe something you ate that you shouldn't have, or even if it's something you eat that you should eat, but they're thinking like, oh, you shouldn't eat that, So I just think that, be careful of who you judge and why, because it can come back to you. Like karma. I'm not really a believer in karma as much as I am consequences for your sins, I guess, is more my thing. And judging people, and especially messaging people. Like, why would someone even message someone and take time out of their day to be negative? Like, for real, I don't understand that at all. Just be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. Nobody's perfect. I don't ever claim by any means not to ever judge someone, because that would be a total lie. But there are people, those people on my 600-pound life, I know some of them are in online support groups. Some of them see what you say, and it's like, how can you do that to somebody? Like, what if that person reads those comments and they're like, wow, I can't even be accepted in this community, what's the point? What's the point of me even trying? So you just have to be careful with that, I don't know, sorry I really rambled on about that, but that's just something that annoys me. Yeah, but I did see Finding Elizabeth's topic, WLS topic of the week, I think is what she wants it titled, and I think it's on, what is it on? Oh my gosh, I think it's on something like the best, wow, I'm really having a brain fart. What's the one thing that made you most successful? That's it. So I'm going to try to make that on Thursday when I come into work in my car. And I have a video I want to make on the weekend that is an idea I came up with. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully everyone likes it. But yeah, that's about it. So just continuing on, and I need to get myself back on track with tracking. Yeah, so I hope everyone has a good rest of their week. Bye-bye.